Why do you have that twitch in your face, Mevdusona Square?
It's because my famous features are in flux. How's the family, friend and lawyer?
Yes, for sure. So, ready to get down right to work?
What's this about exactly?
It's about exactly this. This bag is a shrimp swamp condensed at a factorization plant in downstate Michigan.
Okay.
And if we don't get 99.999% accurate biometric readings out of it in the next 15 minutes, we are in severe danger of losing the entire eastern seaboard.
Hostile mackerel, Mevdusona. What can we do?
He has to, Monsieur J, the biomet is the railroute of vet.
Your piece. Lurtz glur.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Fameshark 3, The Hunt for Aurora Borealis's Gold 2. This 5-part instructional course will take you on thrilling savannas, a sci-fi military base on the moon, and into the darkest stretches of the oceanic depths, all while teaching practical, effective cross-stitching locomotion skills you can apply wherever fine polymerized heat sinks are subleased, in addition to giving you the subtraction skills you will need to divide and conquer so you can go 4th, 5th, 6th, and multiply. And we're talking full float factorization, frenemies. Step 1, cut a hole in a box. Then you got to get a long, very smooth sheet of foil and poke the infamous pinhole into it with a weed widener. Now you've got the stuff broiling in the savage backyard's ashtray of a beveled emptiness you would never have known if it weren't for your incredibly stubborn mother, who shed any sense of propriety when she impregnated your cousin Vinny all for a second crack at the ponies. We pouted a bit, because we knew old Nan Bampus was batty for the bets. We were not happy about the fleshless inaccuracy and the deafening sanctions of greed overflew our heads like a clot of sparrows disturbed. How infrequently would we assemble the rover to range over the hills and dells of the planet of the God of War? We rove here and there, but my marbles in Finland never set the facts in question, at least not in a timely manner. What kind of heaven do I have to mind my own manners in before I started being una cha-cha? I think that we can egg this solution by ploughing fifth the names of the 16-strand committee in welcome of broad strokes and bridge brides, blossom glistening, charter christenings, and folder-top injunction beams, and fail, safe fails, involving the whale gleaming that proselytizes, not at all, and manages to accurately infer the molar mass of any 3 objects to an arbitrary level of precision, using only a catalytic converter made of molasses and complex n-dimension surface. No mechanical parts, no apostrophe furnaces, no bivalve desiccation pond for leftover hatch casings. All new tech, all new social paradigm as a result. And I'm going to be there instantly, in every manner, pouring liquefied oats on all horses until they drown in gruel, and then I shall drop my gruel decanter and stare in genuine dismay at the results of my actions. Hoop. We dwell in the nether crack between Hades and glimpses of Herman Cain screaming in hell. I plotted out the point over the site of each incident, and to my complex combination of absolute terror and glee, I saw that the pattern the marks revealed was in fact an extremely filthy drawing of an anthropomorphic crawdad eating an crustaceomorphic clawmon. And it was truly dystopian and unfulfilling spiritually, as these things all too often are. I poured and poured at the pawn shop window, but it was 3 a.m, and even the owner wasn't sleeping behind the desk with a shotgun in his left hand. So I broke the glass, and the alarm began shrieking instantly. I screamed back, ever louder and so near to the frequency of the alarm, that all glass in a 6-week radius radiated back to the Ethel Merman Wax Theatre Defenestration Offence League. A shadow cabal of defence bishops and bomb cardinals, waging all-out war of sentience itself. The wicker chair set ablaze, they sought to staple in the acquaintances of the damned to hopefully rid themselves of the meddlesome brats. But laundering scant quandaries into squalor via a radical act of heinous symbolism only gets one so far in this life. Prevent the savage instincts of my bedeviled limbs in the service of disruptive vestibule announcements. But when I repositioned my crimes of passion towards invective and alienation, suddenly an entire flock committee of pencil vertebrae donation, creed we had mottled Sever Wilderness Infarction Demarcation Docents. We did a dude ranch filled with clay reeds and weeds so large they could finance your head if given sufficient APR. Apricot residue foreclosed twice on its second mortgage, so they took its face and gave it a broccoli makeover. They rendered it virtually unrecognisable. So when it took umbrage at the spinach plant where it was employed, its imbalance of grit and homeostasis would have no choice but to bin the unsavoury output and crisp a few dirt lozenges where the fireside doormat couldn't hold invective under copyright law but could let go of it. For pennies on the dollar when it burnsided its collapsing rug, demolition plant and its conveyor belt manufacturing hall. We put Potty in a dirty devil's plan to bird our way out of a potted pit, just like Madame Moomfew, piled, implied and revolved this and that way, to spin out all their flying features. The disco diskettes burgeoned each night, praying for a redemption arc that would never come, as it couldn't even get sprung. It was an impotent arc from which no goo would ever spring. As it happens, I had funneled a subset of my torpedo munition acquisition funds into future torpedo research, because I felt we were just a few innovations away from revolutionising the field. I sink funds into soon-to-be obsolete fixed capital. I made this pitch to my third baseman, who was one hell of a batter. Then I liberally dabbed him over the fish until they were bread golden brown. I dispersed them to 17 antiquated funnel blocks, until each iris subsumed the pupil. No more evidence could be gathered by the team of deep fish and bleach capacitors we'd installed out back by the bay and down round back by the bay. We had a sloping forthright to christen our missiles, but the torpedo budget was shot. We strapped on a rocket-propelled grenade, but we were chasing to learn it didn't function the way we'd been led to believe. Luckily, I lined my jockeys with lead in just such a way as to proceed to the final round, final square, final oblong. I had grasped my infinitesimal till it formed a colloidal fluid in my crypts and crevices. Could you curdle one to hope? You could, in shrinking times of purple laser rays, have cost yourself the prettiest penny to believe, but nobody can beseech thee enough to say, "Prithee tell how that smell came to pass." Without knowing in advance, you held the glass ashtray in question in the back of your hands and driver's pickets and packets of wish sentiment. My glorious muscle-bound necklace found itself bursting, but that's not what we had held. It's not what the final grip said daily about my sock rocket, so branding myself as a tailor-made veteran of the 5-4 foliage doily committee to enliven plants and disabuse minerals of their sentience came as something of a shock to my 5-fried fish, who had taught me everything they knew in school. But since become something of a shish kebab in my side. Maybe that's all they ever were. A shish kebab in my side had more fish with rice than I deserve. We could, I suppose, wheel our way around about the barrows and sleep ourselves inside a ministry of geriatric report sleeves and missile condemnation units and barbaric flood harpoons and absolutely recidivist bolo tie packet sausages that crimp and coil and seek out heat in the depths of the chill desert nights. When the annulment princess gained a sense of spring and found the spring in her step at last, plucking the watch component out and shivering it down her spine with spiteful grace. I disgorged my guts and it hurt like hell, and then I spurned my relief avocado, because that is just one of the only things that come in a knapsack that doesn't fit in a rucksack. So I had to get all my towels out and run it up the flagpole. One gigantic, glorious hose rapture. And we had a lozenge ensemble filled with frills and armoured plates and defenceless bowls and tiny spoons, too small for humans to use, enlisted into the effort by Pirate Squirrel Cook, a lovely, if unusual, scurvy sea dog who loved to make food for furry fellows of the rodent family, and together they would both serve and eat every dish fit for lizards, and they giggled behind closed doors about the forbidden nature of their feasts. The annulment princess was deeply unimpressed with all these thoughts. She intimated that she had been aware of the pirate squirrels for the last 7,000 porridge factory accident 3 days, and that my revelations were nothing if not patronising. I saw her point immediately, which is a credit to me about how quickly I could see her point, so I flew into a frothing rage and ballyhooed until she sicked her guard poodles on me. the look of dismay on her royal visage as I effortlessly booted the brutish but compact guard poodles into next week gave me new succour, and I floundered not at all on my way to the throne. With weak weapons of thy will, such as these heedless beasts, thy truly believe me worsted? I shall have my amulet, and you shall tell me that I was smart for finding out all that stuff about the squirrels and the dog and all that, That other stuff I've been saying this whole time. I thought I had her at last. She'd been waiting for just such a moment as this. Such a moment proved itself in the fullness of time to be bitter. Your word is worrisome, but your aspect is trifling, she rip-snorted, pulling out a shorty gunner. Oh, sweet, I blurted out. I'm going to go blasted by bitter and rams. She whammed me, and Blammied, and all I'm a Deadie. I died and fright and frift when for eve and ever since then. I've had these dream just really. I'm a moidal poodle with a murdery, many pweddy in mer sweat brawls.